Lockyer said that Gaza is in a critical situation where the medics there are having to choose between giving beds to trauma patients who are seeking assistance, medication, and surgery for some horrendous wounds versus giving those beds to malnourished children.
Is that we are definitely seeing rising rates of malnutrition. We are up to the in the situation in places like the Al-Aqsa hospital, which is in the middle area of Gaza. We're in a really critical situation where our medics there are having to choose between giving beds to trauma patients who are seeking assistance and medication and surgery for some horrendous wounds, and versus giving those beds to malnourished children. So we're absolutely seeing rapidly increasing rates of malnutrition.
Lockyer welcomed the chance of new border crossings opening into Gaza, but said it was not just about supplies, but being able to move it around and having qualified and fit medics.
Firstly, there needs to be much more supply coming in, much more land crossings opened. And at the same time, that needs to, what we need to be aware of is that it's much more than counting trucks across the border. And a lot of the narrative that we have seen in terms of supply in this conflict has been oversimplified, and actually moving supplies around the Gaza Strip is critical. Being able to have medics who are qualified, fed, in a mentally fit state to be able to treat patients is essential for providing humanitarian assistance. And hospitals, if I look at it from a hospital perspective, are obviously more than four walls and a roof. They're about running water, electricity, fuel, communication.
He added that to have medics who are qualified, well fed, and in a mentally fit state to be able to treat patients is essential. He pointed out that 208 workers had been killed in Gaza, adding that international humanitarian law was being broken on a daily basis in the Gaza Strip.
And just on international humanitarian law, there are now 200 aid workers that have been killed in the Gaza Strip. There was the tragic incident from the World Central Kitchen just this week, which has brought attention to this issue. But international humanitarian law is being broken on a daily basis in the Gaza Strip.
Food is scarce, and the UN says famine is fast approaching, with only a few Palestinians being able to leave the besieged territory. Last week, Israel announced that the Erez border crossing in northern Gaza would be temporarily reopened in a bid to increase aid. The announcement was made hours after a warning from US President Joe Biden that future US support for Israel would depend on it taking concrete action to protect civilians and aid workers.